How can you understand a brain anytime, any place? You only need your hand. Imagine your wrist as your brain stem, the part that keeps your body alive, regulating your body functions, acting on messages from your body and brain, releasing neurochemicals, and making sure that you can do what you need to survive. Now imagine your thumb as your limbic system, many interacting parts that allow you to store memories, feel emotions, and detect threats. The limbic system makes deep associations between situations and feelings experienced, which is why so many memories come with a strong emotional component. The amygdala is alerted if danger is anticipated and immediately kicks the brainstem into stress response action. Lastly, the ends of your fingers are your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain. This is the part of your brain that gives humans the ability to sequence, predict, plan, understand, and pay attention to consequences. Our language is built in parts of the cortex, and our relationship and interdependence competencies, how we interact socially with others. The human brain is developed from the base upwards, around from the back to the front, over 20 or more years. The brainstem is created first before birth so that the baby can survive outside the womb. All 86 billion brain cells are created in utero, and the brain template structure is completed based mainly on genes. The higher structures have a lot of learning and maturation to go, based mainly on experiences and strongly influenced by the relationships the child has with those they spend most time with. Largely unconsciously, the brainstem actions are based on instincts, impulses, or desires from the limbic system, and the decisions made in the prefrontal cortex. This consciousness is what sets humans apart from our reptile friends, whose life decisions are highly genetically and in the moment driven. Humans, however, can learn and change, influence, and even override their own instincts. The limbic system is mostly developing during the early years, bringing the terrific 2s and 3s. When we are first beginning to recognize our own emotions, desires, and urges without conscious thought of consequences. The will to learn, desire to learn, belief in self are developing during this time and are experienced as a felt thing, in tandem with experiences being laid down as memories. Before moderating parts of the brain are developed, emotional experiences of fear, frustration, as well as excitement and joy can feel very overwhelming. Young children need help to express and regulate their emotions positively and to slowly mature their ability to act appropriately. Learning to learn is a process. Ideally, children will be allowed to play freely, led as much by their own urges as possible. They will be learning what their brain knows they need to learn about. Judgment has no place here. Gentle or firm guidance are most helpful, if any interference is deemed necessary. There's no point either asking a small child, "Why did you do that?" They don't know why. They just wanted to, so they did it. There's a whole lot of development needed before they'll be able to answer usefully. This could take a while. The prefrontal cortex begins development before birth and matures most during a person's teens and 20s. This development allows consciousness to flourish. This part of the brain is very plastic and able to continue moulding itself throughout life, provided change is chosen and practiced. The thoughts and beliefs created here can be very dominant and influence less conscious areas of the brain. Thoughts can generate feelings, which then initiate actions. This area of the brain can highly influence the limbic system through self-talk, which will first come into existence as the actual words of the main caregivers. These voices that supposedly tell the truth can stay with children throughout their lives unless they are consciously acknowledged and worked on to better reflect the actual truth, or at least an updated adult version of the truth. As most of this development is occurring later in a child's life, caregivers need to be the prefrontal cortex for many years until the child can take the reins completely and competently for themselves. So how can we best help children to learn and grow their brain? The process goes something like this: do for, do with, do as well as, and finally, just remind them. The stress response and the process of myelination are also involved heavily throughout every person's life and learning. We'll deal with those in a future session. Bye for now.